All right, everybody, how we doing? How you doing, Big Cheds? Big Chonis, you there, buddy?
I'm Big Chonis. You're Big Chad,
I know,
buddy.
sorry, man. Everything's upside down. Just a quick disclaimer, we are not advisors. We're just a couple friends talking crypto. I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. He's on Twitter at Big Chonis. So let's jump right into some altcoins here. Looking at Binance 24-hour volume, Big Chonis, XRP number one. Let's just jump on XRP. What do you think?
I've heard of it. Let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and do XRP.
Wow, 10.6. Jesus.
So XRP, I'm looking at thing is really kind of cranking. It's been hot. There's been a couple recent, nice buy signals here. We have a bullish flag break here, and we have kind of like an ascending triangle break here, and then here, this is a nice bullish consolidation period that pattern that just broke again bullishly. So this is really churning right along. I'm impressed. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this has been on a rip. It's Ripple. It had such an epic run earlier in the year, or the end of last year. I mean, really, 20,000 Satoshi on a coin that has, over 40 billion currently out there in circulation. So that was very impressive. It did have a very long correction time here. I've learned, this is something that I've learned, that, the longer you kind of have these bottoming areas here, the longer they tend to basically flatten out, the price action flatten out. That does create that kind of consolidation period for these nice big boom epic moves. You're seeing the volume, is wonderful. I mean, there's a lot of huge volume, great market price here, really blowing up there. You have the daily chart up there. Yeah, and talking about indicators that we like to see, for starters, the RSI is way up there. It's not super topped off. It's definitely above that kind of overbought, in that zone there. But there's nothing that says this can't keep it kind of overboughtness for a while. We've seen that, play out in a lot of other coins. Stock RSI is also pretty high as well. But the OBV is strong. That basically says that a lot of people here are kind of want to ride this out and see kind of how far it can go. Obviously this has been a huge move in the past couple of days here. We've seen the parabolic move it had back, in December, but we're not seeing anywhere near, I think, that buy volume. So if you want to see that kind of massive move in that short amount of time there, we're seeing something like that on a much smaller scale. But I would assume that there'll be correction points, like you saw the big wicks happen on its first bull run. We'll see wicks and potentially much better buying opportunities if this is one you want to trade.
That's a great call. I would just point out potentially an area it will have to of resistance. It's going to have to deal with 12,000, right around 12,000, and just pointed out on the RSI it peaked here back in end of December. So naturally it wouldn't surprise me to see it go a little bit more and then pull back. Number two, EOS. Do you want to look at, let's see, EOS. Do you want to look at the available supply and anything like that, or what?
No, let's just stick with the charts.
Okay.
The charts.
All right. If EOS, interesting. So this, the daily chart looks like it has a recent bull flag break, and now it's kind of coming back up, and it's just cleared, or is clearing, hasn't closed yet, but a close above this level would be bullish to me, because this is your prior high on the daily chart. So if it's able to close here in about 3 hours above 12.2, 12.3, I think that's bullish.
Yeah, I mean, this has had an amazing run. That double test of that top, almost trying to break out, with a nice green candle today. I mean, the money flow has been strong in this one for quite a while, way off its correction lows there. Definitely not super overbought though in terms of the RSI. Definitely the stock RSI on the daily, as well as OBV, is very strong here. So this one has been in beast mode for several weeks here. But I'm a little more conservative. I would like to see kind of some sort of a correction area. Definitely a better chance to get in this one.
Right, but hold on. But if you're already in it, are you taking profit here, or what's your strategy?
Well, I mean, it depends how long you've been riding this here. I mean, you can see how there's been some amazing green candles that have basically, consolidated almost 50% or more of that spike. So
Hmm.
if you're willing to ride that those kind of swings, for sure. But every green candle, you want to try and sell into that buying pressure. That's kind of guarantees you'll have, that another trade opportunity ahead of you. And it's important.
That's a great call. All right, so I think we actually have two very key levels. So even if we close above that 12.3, I mean, our pretty much all-time high close, at least on Binance, is like a 12.965 roughly. So, I mean, we're right there too. You see Big Chonis, how we're kind of right there?
Hmm.
So that's a very important level to watch. Let's see. We'll do one more here in Binance, and then we'll kind of freestyle. XVG. Verge is still trying to find, negotiate what the, where its bottom is. On the daily chart, I see a bearish pennant forming. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right here. I kind of see a bearish pennant forming on the daily chart. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it had such a nice move. It sold off a lot, kind of on that news, that buy the rumors, sell the news situation there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's basically been trying to find kind of a bounce. Is it a dead cat or is it just kind of a consolidation period? I still think it's a very tradable stock coin. It's something that you have a situation here where after all the dust kind of settles, and if it can really try and find an actual price point, you could see a situation here where it could continue its upward trend that it basically started from the time it went parabolic. So you have, 45, then you have it at 331 here. So as long as we kind of keep above this standard move here, there's definitely continued Momo. But we had such a big move over the past several weeks, so that kind of correction still needs to play out.
What levels are you watching on this right now?
So, I mean, right where we're at here is a very interesting area here. There's a lot of history here as well.
Mm-hmm.
If we break down from this, basically maybe 650 area,
Yeah.
kind of coincides on where the 55 is on the daily. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to see something right there. Yeah, and that is a little history there too. So if we start breaking below the 650 area,
Right.
then I get a little concerned the chart may be falling apart, but that could be
Right.
some strong support area,
Mm-hmm.
potentially another entry opportunity as well.
And we're kind of, you see, we're heading towards a pinch. We're getting there, right? On the
Hmm.
Bollingers, on the
Hmm.
4 hour.
Hmm.
So we're going to see this pattern looks to me about 80% complete. Does that make sense? And it's going to kind of decide here shortly.
It does. It does. And I think, again, it's hard to figure how much of this dump were people just kind of riding the wave. I know this really has a big cult following. It's a very popular coin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of hodlers that will hold no matter what.
Yeah.
So that adds kind of that intrinsic strength.
Yeah, and it's cheap, so it has that going for it. Like people
Sure.
will buy it, so that's gonna it will have liquidity. So that's like something you can see. You can't take that away from it, no matter what.
Indeed.
At least right now. Do you want to grab one from the chat room and see what the people are asking for?
Sure. How about Salt? SALT?
The movie with what's her name or the?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you
I
ever
think
see
Salt's
that?
doing.
Have you
I
ever
did.
seen? What do you think?
There were some good parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some kind of, are you kidding me, parts of it?
Right.
I heard they were wanting to do a part two, but it never kind
Get
of
out
came
of here.
to
Would they call it?
fruition.
Would they call it Pepper? All right. I swear we didn't prepare that. All right. So 4 hour.
Looks bullish.
It looks pretty bullish. See how the stochastics has reset. Wow, the on-balance volume is topped off. That does look bullish, Big Jonas. I would happen to agree. I see a nice bullish pattern here, a bullish pennant perhaps.
Yeah, it feels like it's coiling for another pop. The RSI isn't too overbought yet. The stock reset in the 4 hour.
Mm-hmm.
The daily, it's definitely up there because it's had such a nice run. But I mean, this could run for more days here. A lot of green buying volume there.
Yep.
And nice turn up there in
However,
the OBV. Well, if you look at the OBV there, you see on the daily, I noticed kind of a double top it had back in end of the year. And that seems to be that area of the OBV seems to be kind of an area of resistance. I wonder if it's kind of heading there and seeing if it can test that area again.
Right here, right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So let's go ahead and just draw that out. One thing I just wanted to point out before we move on is the candle. What are your thoughts on this candle? It looks to be forming here. on the daily chart?
So let's see here. It's interesting. I mean, it's definitely kind of a spinning. It's a doji. I mean, I don't know. It has a
It's
super
what?
long wick on the bottom, so it's
Yep.
kind of bullish. Has a little tweezerish on top, but not really.
Hmm.
It's confirming the current price area here. So basically, it's saying that we tried to dump it, the bulls roared back, and basically they're holding right now where yesterday ended. That's very bullish. That's still very bullish. The day isn't over yet. There's still a few hours to play out.
If I'm
But
being nitpicky, look, I just one thing also look, but it's got a slightly lower low than the day before.
okay,
That's a clue. It's an inside bar, and it's showing. For me, the biggest takeaway is indecision, because you've gone from these two almost Marabozu candles, these big green candles, and now you're showing indecision. Of course, it looks like a long-legged doji. I'd love to see this at the bottom of a trend.
if I can just say one thing about these alts in general here, like
Yeah.
what's happening here? Like, is everybody just deciding that the bottom is in, and we're just gonna shove a bunch of money into all these alts? A lot of the winners that were the big ones back, at the end of the year, Ripple, XLM, Verge, Tron, or are we spreading out? Or is this just kind of this new mini alt season pop here where we have money flow, kind of a bullish euphoria forming again? I mean, you have to argue that we're kind of in this euphoric area here where no matter what alt you're in for the past few weeks, as long as you kind of just put it in there and held it, you're probably up. So a lot of that easiness of easy money gets people, bullish and happy, which is a very positive thing, but can basically exacerbate a situation in which a correction, and there'll always be a correction, will basically determine, how strong these moves are. The alts that are
Hold on,
running
allow me to
Sure.
just purely interject, and pardon the interruption. That's the point I was making earlier. Is the market's lulling us to sleep? You see what I'm saying? And it wants you to dull your senses, right? It wants you to stop double checking things. It wants you to stop only look at one time frame in the chart. Oh, that's good enough, right? Don't confirm your method. Don't do, you know what I mean? It wants you to just throw caution to the wind. That's what will happen when it will lull you to sleep.
Nothing to fear here, just keep putting your money in,
Yes.
keep spreading out to these altcoins, and here we go. Here comes the moon. We've been through this before, so if you are trading these, and I was thinking about, like, how do you as a holder, as an investor, or as someone that's just bullish crypto all around, how do you support these coins in a situation where you want to be a holder, you want to be a long-term investor in these, but you also want to play the chart and take profit when you can? So even if you like Ripple and you feel it's a great long-term play, you have to basically see what happens when these moves happen and then they correct. So it's okay to take.
Bro, look at it. It's up like
rocking
300
right now.
sats since we were looking at it a minute ago.
Do we
It's
do
almost at
that?
11. Yeah, we did it at 10. It was 10.6. It's
10.6, yeah.
It's at 10.95 right now.
So is this, a situation here where you want to sell some of your profits into strength, or do you feel this is going to be 20,000 Satoshi in like a few weeks from now?
Yeah.
These are the things right now that I think a lot of people are trying to play around with, where, maybe I'm now deciding I want to start playing and I kind of hold off for the past week or so, but are you kind of getting in now where a lot of this kind of easy money over the past few weeks, and, I shouldn't say that it hasn't been easy at all.
Right.
But all these nice gains over the past few weeks, are you getting in on the tail end of this moment? Will these provide a better entry opportunity if you want to go long on them? I think a lot of them will.
I like it. I like the approach. What's next from the chat room, my friend?
All right, let's do ADA. It's also having a huge day today, ADA, also known as Cardano.
I think
Now
we got. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just real quick. This was one of the ones that was a big flyer back in the day. It definitely is still one of those top 10 coins. It kind of came out of nowhere. Had one of the bigger parabolic moves, than a lot of the other ones there, and just having a super nice rip. basically today and over the past several days here. This is also one that definitely has a lot of coin out there. I think it's almost 20 billion, 25 billion, I'm not sure. But there's a lot of inventory out there, which gives it kind of a low price point. And I think we're seeing that there as people see these low costing, how much is one ADA cost here? Like 50 cents or something?
30 cents. I have it up here on CoinMarketCap.
30 cents. So that's a situation there where psychologically it's like, oh, it's cheap. I'll throw a few.
Yeah, that's a good price.
There.
It's a sub-dollar, right?
It's sub-dollar, even though the valuation is based on a lot of coins that are on the market there. So, investors take that to account to get a sense of the valuation. Now, we've seen valuations be able to be stretched extraordinarily. So there's nothing that says, even with that many coin out there, ADA can't continue to move just like we just saw Ripple doing. The question is the point in time, what you want to be looking at in terms of an entry, or will there be a better one? That there always seems to be kind of that dip to see the true strength. Is that the better, chance for an entry? We shall see. Got a few more requests here.
Well, we haven't done ADA yet. We just talked about the market supply.
All right, you're right.
We haven't done the chart. So let's just so real quick, the daily chart's hot. Obviously, the RSI is hot. On balance volume is hot. It looks nice. It's accumulation. It's still going. We're seeing enthusiasm. Notably, you cleared this prior high here. 34.21, you have cleared that. So this is still bullish until proven otherwise. What's the next coin, Big Jonas?
Let's do ICX, and then we'll do Redcoin.
Okay, ICX. ICX daily chart. That's also pretty hot here. But it may peak. I don't know. Here's the thing. This looks to me, I don't have as much confidence just in a quick look that it's going to break 45.60 this time. What do you think, Chonis?
Yeah, I was looking at that same price as well. That was kind of that initial resistance area where we've kind of almost had this trough chart line build here. The RSI is high, but not super high yet. Stock is high. The OBV is nice. This is definitely a nice chart here. But if you think of it as like daisy chaining, if it is going higher and higher, this could be towards the top of this current kind of chain link, and it might need to kind of do another loop around, which may provide a better entry. Okay. So for now, it's been very bullish, but we'll see kind of how it plays out. There could be another option.
What do you say, RDD, Redcoin?
Yeah, REDD, 2 Ds.
REDD, okay. Oh, double Ds. Sounds reminds me of after double Cs, the batteries. All right, double Ds. So, yeah, this thing looks like it's already cooling off. This looks to me like, yesterday the question was, when's the run going to stop? And right now the question is, where's it going to find support?
Yeah, yesterday's candle was pretty nasty. It looks very similar to the one I put in back on February 25th. Kind of that, toppy candle, wick. Green, though, so that's, encouraging.
Yep.
We're definitely consolidating today after 2 big, nice green candles. From a standpoint of like what should be your next coin to kind of put some money in and trade, the ones that seem to be red for a day or two are probably the ones that could be green the next days after. So if you're looking at a coin that's up 17% on the day and you see a coin that's down, 15% on the day, think about the risk versus reward situation there, where do you want to buy into weakness or you want to buy into one that's super strong there. So red coin was a little toppy. It hit 105. Cooled off back to 91 now. Probably wants to cool off a little bit more, but the way the chart's playing out, this could definitely, still have some more legs in it. And this is also one of those high valuation coins out there, so that's why it has such a low price point.
Great call. What's next in the chat room, brother?
Oh, let's see here. Oh, let's do XLM. We haven't done Lumen yet.
Okay, XLM on the daily chart. I like the candle. I'm a little surprised how good today's candle is given yesterday's candle. It almost looks like a morning star. Yesterday is a morning star, and so this is a surprisingly strong candle given yesterday. What do you think?
Yeah, it's holding up very nicely. Are you on the Bittrex chart there? Because I'm on
Binance.
Binance. Okay. So yeah, let me just go there real quick. listen, this was another one of those ones that did super well at the end of the year there. It's had, I mean, God, how many green candles in a row are we talking here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, so it's going through just a tremendous uptick right here. It is hitting some historical resistance in terms of trend lines I have here. We're really right there in that kind of 4,500 area, which acted as a lot of resistance and support on its way up. And that's kind of where it's lagging right now. It does feel like it kind of wants to correct from yesterday's candle. Today's is very encouraging. Kind of curious to see how the next 3 hours play out and if it can continue this kind of bullish move. If it turns red, it could definitely set the stage for this to correct further.
Yeah, I'm impressed, but that's a great call. Let's see. You want to pick another one?
Yeah, we haven't done TRX yet, have we?
Oh, we haven't done TRX. Always reminds you like a dinosaur, like a T-Rex.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah, this is this is another one of those cult coins where people are just very fanatical about that. They feel it's a great project. It's going to be a really important thing. That's great. I mean, this is a situation where we'll always have a following, like Apple people or Tesla people. You know, they just love it before
so let me
what
get
it
this.
is.
So the top three in your mind are Apple, Tesla, and Tron. Is that kind of?
I think it's basically I see them as the three amigos, obviously,
let's
right?
Just right.
No,
so you
but
could
that's
call
the
this.
point, though.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, that's the point, though, is that you have a situation here where, like Verge, you have just this continued social media bullishness. Where if you're a Tron person, you know, if you're really into that, it also has a really cool name, you know, and the price point, you know, it's what is it, like 3 cents USD or something like that?
Same with XVG, it's got that going for it, right?
Right. So that's kind of like, oh, it feels it's affordable. I can get 50,000 of them for like, you know, a few $1,000s. Like that seems like wow, and 50,000 could be this one here. It has a very high circulation supply, very high, higher than ADA, higher than Ripple, I believe. So you have to factor that in as well in terms of your expectations of how high it could fly. Now we've seen, as I said before, super high valuations happen with coins with a lot of circulating supply out there.
Good call. Let's get to the chart. It's a great call though. It is 100 whatever trillion.
65 billion, I think.
It was at 100, yeah. 100
oh yeah,
billion, 100 billion, yeah.
100 billion with 65 out there, yeah.
That was some quick. Is that quick math? So this is actually a bullish pattern. I'm detecting a bullish pattern. I think this isn't. My thesis is an ascending triangle. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is ridden this kind of momentum for several days here, and I think people were expecting this to pop hard with a big green candle. You know, it did that last week, it seems, and has basically consolidated from that, and it's still in this kind of uptrend loop-de-loop, which is great. The money flow is also very nice too, and people are basically seeing this put in a very stronger base, putting in higher lows every day.
Yeah, I think it's also because I think XVG is kind of going down right now, and I think some of that money's coming into TRX as well.
It's a valid point. They probably have a similar following. Do
you want to do maybe 2 or 3 more?
Yeah, I'm good. I think we're all good now with everything going on here. How about a little SC, Sia corn?
SC? Okay.
Sia coin?
Okay.
Sia coin on the cob?
I don't know what, all right. Sia corn on the cob. Yeah, so this we had on the daily chart yesterday. We almost had, in retrospect, looks like a sell signal. Looks like we had a hanging man yesterday, and today it's really giving it back. Let's look a little closer though on the 4 hour and see what's going on. It's trying to bottom. You know, looks like sell volume is tapering off. Big Chonis?
Yeah. I mean, this one had a great run here past few days. It kind of got a little overextended a little bit. You know, you see on the 4 hour there when it broke out of that Bollinger for the third time really, that's where it keeps getting rejected. This one is a little more of a consolidation period there. Feels a little different than the previous one, which actually felt a lot more bullish. This one basically is trying to find support where you just drew that trend line. I totally agree with that. We're right in this area here where if we don't hold this area, maybe 217 to 211 area is probably going to be your next stop there.
Yep.
That's fine. I mean,
good
this
support,
is a
right? It's got good support
here.
right? It's got good
It
support.
does, because of how long it's taken for this trend to kind of play
Yep.
out. This is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Now,
this
it looked like it will provide potentially a better entry area here. I'd personally want to hold off on this one and see if it can get down to the lower 200s. I think it's a good possibility. The money flow remains strong. You know, these alts that have run, like you haven't missed the boat here.
right.
As they correct, they will correct to a point where they'll allow themselves to potentially put in another impulse move. It might not be as big as this one we've seen here, but once these do correct, your next good trade opportunity can happen across the board with all these. So that's very
Okay.
important to keep an eye on.
Want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do a couple more. Let's do Storm, STORM.
All right, Storm. Let's go to the daily. Wow. So it's really kind of perking up here on the
This
daily
one's
chart, but not a lot of history. Not a lot of history. Let's go 4 hour. So this candle's still new. We don't have only an hour in this last candle, but it's still bullish. So I'm not necessarily considering this candle with as much weight yet. You see what I'm saying, Big Chonis?
Yeah, I mean, listen. Well,
But however, let's acknowledge though we do have decreasing buy volume. So that's one thing that's notable, and you are cooling off though. So that maybe this can go sideways for a little bit, maybe, and then keep going if that's what it's going to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, stay on the 4 hour, but just zoom out a little bit more there. And I think what you're seeing is this kind of why it's stopping where it currently is here, and how it feels like it wants to kind of do this another daisy chain, kind of retest, re-strengthen a lot of the support it's kind of been able to ride up here and put in kind of a more stronger foundation. It's a bullish chart here. I mean, I don't really see much after it had its really beautiful parabolic move with massive money flow that came in. It's basically been correcting here. Now, could it retest those highs in the 750
But where's the volume?
area?
There's no volume, right?
That's the thing there. I think at this point here, because it's had such a nice move, let's correct a little bit. This is very similar to a lot of the charts we've been seeing here, where they seem to be a little bit tired as they've moved up there, even though this is having a great day. Another one that has a very low valuation price point, 550 Satoshi there. I mean, it's one of those, oh, this sounds like a very cheap coin. That's where I want to put my money, because I think people see that as those are the ones that can 10x and 20x. And the ones that are higher priced, the ones that are $30 right now, USD, $20, $100, those can also 10x and 20x. So don't necessarily think that you're, $1,000 in a coin that's under 1,000 Satoshi has a better chance to triple or quad on a coin that's maybe $30, where you don't get as many coins of, but still has the potentially more. From a longer term perspective, people seem to like a higher valuation coin because they feel it maybe has more stability at the higher price point. Mostly it has a higher price point because there's a lower circulation supply. So as more people hold these coin, it adds to the valuation, just as everybody begins to kind of hodl Bitcoin as well. Let's do waves.
Well, real quick, I want to do Nano real quick.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, but I was just checking my notifications. Someone had requested Nano, and I don't think we've done it recently. The daily chart's pretty hot, I believe. It's actually not that bad. Look, the RSI's only like 50 something on the daily chart. Big Chonis for Nano.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like this one. Look, we had a nice green bar yesterday. Today, it seemed like we wanted to give a lot of that back,
and we didn't.
The bull stepped in. They popped that thing back over to the the mid 8,500 area there. The 4 hour, it looks really bullish to me.
Really,
it almost looks like it's setting up for another kind of leg up there. The money flow is a little bit lower right now. It's a bullish chart. I mean, if I saw this chart right here for the first time, I'd say, oh, it has some nice moves, nice consolidation there.
Yeah.
This seems like it wants to run more. It's had a big correction from where to top out at like 15,000 area there. That happened super quickly. So we've been correcting from that super parabolic move back in the end of February there. Oh, I remember that one. It went nuts. And we've basically been correcting from that all this time here.
That was a listing. Wasn't that like a listing on an exchange or something?
I think it was one of those new ones that just shot up, and it
Korean
was during a
maybe or
time.
something.
Interesting too. It was during a time, remember, when Bitcoin was kind of stalling out after it had its bottom there. So I
Hmm.
remember it had such a crazy run in such a very short amount of time. Have we fully corrected from that? We are putting in a higher low from when we bottomed around 410, 412 area there. So the chart is definitely intact. If you see it on a relative scale here, this could be a really decent valuation. But I think this one, looks to me bullish, and I wouldn't be surprised if you kind of see another candle. I like the fact also that it's kind of flat on the day.
Hmm.
Let it kind of chill out for a while here, down
Mm.
2% or so.
Hmm.
That's good. It basically shows that there aren't a lot of sellers right now, so that's important.
That's a great call. It's great analysis. And real quick, you can find him on Twitter at Big Chonis. I am on Twitter at Big Cheds. So let's do waves. Do I have it? Nope. I'm just gonna go ahead and add it. Waves, BTC. Let's check her. Let's check her out. Check her out. Okay. Daily chart's pretty good. I mean, it's clearly you've got like a downtrend break here on the daily chart. The first thing that jumps out to me is, we had a downtrend break, and now we're in kind of an upward, a consolidation period. Maybe it's forming a rising wedge potentially. RSI is trying to figure out what it wants to do, and the on balance is pretty good. So I think you have to watch. There's some strength, but I'm not like convinced yet. What do you think here?
This one's tricky. I mean, it's definitely been bullish for a while here. It's a great move here.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely a little overheated there. It does. I like the coiling. Basically, it definitely looks like it wants to put in another leg. Pretty nasty kind of rejection of that 63,000 area there,
Mm-hmm.
and has been trying to kind of claw back. It kind of feels like it's still correcting a little bit to me.
Yeah, it's already gained a lot pretty quickly, no?
Yeah, I mean, what in like which time frame?
Whatever. I'm on even daily. Like, look where we.
Oh yeah. Oh no, believe me, yeah, it's had a
Yeah.
great run. I mean, the 4 hour shows some pretty nasty wicks there
Mm-hmm.
that clearly the market has seen and feel this one.
Ooh, look at that
Little,
signal, Big Chodes. Look at that
yeah,
gravestone.
yep,
That's like a take your profit, right?
right there. That's a big
But
one too.
it hasn't given up the middle Bollinger yet.
No,
So
this
that's
one's had a lot of strength because the
right.
volume has been there. A lot of people have been hodling this one here. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it does want to correct, but this has been super bullish for a while there.
Uh-huh.
It's not incredibly topped off, but
4 hours are pretty good. The candles aren't
not bad.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the daily isn't that bad either. I mean, this could definitely have some more room to run. The
Uh-huh.
reason that's flat as well today, that's an encouraging sign. They just want to chill out for a while until they can get the next Momo move.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the 4 hour better than the daily. I mean, if you wanted to, you could be looking to enter here potentially and make this your stop loss, this prior level, this prior peak, which is like roughly like 6093. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, you could buy here and say, if it holds the middle Bollinger, if it holds 6, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be one potential strategy. You want to do one more and we'll wrap her up?
Sure. Let's do ARK, ARK.
Okay. ARK. Why don't you take us away, sir?
Sure. So this is one I've been actually watching here for a little bit. It's had ever since it debuted on the Bitrex exchange. It's basically had this kind of continued uptrend since last April. So basically, almost for this full year here, it's definitely this nice upward move.